Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, presented by M&M Septic Services. We are finally back, taking a week off from Off the Dirt. This is episode 26, titled The Patriot. We have a fun show prepared for you guys. So I'm also joined tonight with my co-host, Joe Rush. Joe, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great. Good to be here. We got a few weeks off, Allie, after the rain out last week, unfortunately, from Smoky Mountain, but we do have that plan. We have a plan in place to run that race October 8th. So our championship race is going to pay 10,000 to win this year, the big richest championship race in history. So got some good things going on. Really excited to be on tonight, and the next two shows up are 10,000 to win too. So we've got some big stuff coming up.
For sure. So definitely, we're into the meat of our schedule with some fun races, a lot of money on the line for all these drivers. But don't forget about all of our social media that we are streaming to right now: our Facebook, our Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube, as well as we have a TikTok and an Instagram. So go follow those, and as well go check out crateracing.com for your American All Star Series needs.
That's right. We'll keep you updated on there with all the up to date information. Trade Show 53 is up next. We'll have that flyer up soon, and just really looking forward to that event and a lot of the things we've got going on. So check us out, social media. We'll keep you updated along the way. Some great weekly races this week. Robert Darby posted on our page. Don't forget to support the local tracks. So that's what our weekly series is all about. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show tonight too, and some of the weekly tracks that are running this weekend, and some places that points can be gained and earned throughout the weekend. So really excited about tonight's show, and excited about some of the things we've got going on.
Absolutely. And don't forget to check out our merch. Landstone Designs does an awesome job giving us merch, off the dirt logos, anything you want. They can make anything you want embroidered. They can get, so hit up Landstone Designs.
That's right. And one thing for sure that with our off the dirt merch, I know our driver that we have on tonight, his car owner, was needing some new off the dirt merch, so I might have to hit up Jamie and get some more shirts ordered, because I know that we got to keep Rusty happy, and make sure that he has his off the dirt merch, because he wears it every race. I mean, every race weekend I've seen him have his off the dirt merch on. So gonna have to get some new stuff ordered so we can hook Rusty up with some new shirts.
Yes, Rusty is a loyal fan to the show, so happy to see him wearing those. But if you want a Landstone Design off the dirt shirt, then let us know, and we can get you one. Hats, anything you want, a polo. If you want to look spiffy one day, then we got you. And Landstone Designs got you too.
This brand of polo that we have, that we found that Landstone can provide us with, I love them. They're my favorite polos ever. So they're different than a traditional polo, and they're comfortable shirts. So
yeah. They're really breathable. But as always, Firefly Token is back for segment 1. Firefly is a unique high burn token that rewards long-term holders with a team of dedicated developers and an engaged community. It's also a token you can feel good about investing in. Each transfer or sale incurs a 15% burn rate, 5% of which goes directly to charitable causes. For us at Firefly, the primary cause we support is the conservation of fireflies. The global population is approaching extinction, and with your support, we hope to reverse that trend. Joe, you haven't told me in a minute, so how's the token doing?
Token's doing great. I know they're doing a lot of stuff behind the scenes. I'm in the group there. I've kind of just let my, I've not really watching it constantly. I'm just letting it grow, and looking forward to cashing out one day. So I know that there'll be plenty there to cash out, and I know it's constantly growing, and they're working hard on that. So off the dirt, great token. I meant off the dirt. Firefly is a great token. I saw Rusty's comment there, and thought about off the dirt. But Firefly is a great token. They work really hard on Firefly. So hashtag save the Firefly. Get involved, and let's glow, as they say.
Yep. Hashtag save the fireflies. So go invest while you can now, and then make your money later. It's going to be an awesome token to invest in and make yourself some money later on. And speaking of something to sign up for, that's going to be absolutely wonderful once a lot of people start using it, is Racetrack Connection.
That's right. Love Racetrack Connection. Sherman's doing a good job. Sherman, we got the Trade Show 53 coming up, so I know that's a show that we need to have you at. I know you're here watching. The Trade Show 53 will give Sherman the opportunity to, and other vendors, the opportunity to set up and advertise or market their products. So Trade Show 53 is a great place. I'm really looking forward to that show, and knowing it's the next race on tap, I need to make sure we talk to Sherman and get him set up because he'll be able to talk to all the racers that day at the trade show. So Racetrack Connection is such a great app, but racers, fans, everybody can get on there and use it. He puts in things like powder puff races, the bike races, and all kinds of things. So, I mean, it can be used by every type of racer that hits the track on race night. And like I said, it's just a great app, a lot of fun. Especially with touring series where maybe fans don't know who all the drivers are with the series. But hey, just like Hayden won with us last weekend at Beckley and Willard, it gives them the opportunity to, if they log into Racetrack Connection, oh, there's that 22 car. That's Hayden Cardwell. That's one of the great options for Racetrack Connection. That was his first races ever at both tracks. So I'm sure the fans want to know who that was winning those races with us this past weekend.
Mm-hmm. That is a lot of users, Sherman. I'm happy that we could help some kind of way in getting you that many users on your new app. That's awesome.
Yeah, really excited about it. We'll talk more about some of the great features as we go into the second and third segments tonight. Before we bring in our guest, though, I want to recognize some of our loyal users here that are leaving comments. We got David Tiny Caudill, flagman at Isom, Mountain Motorsports Park. And we've got Chris Caudill, the flagman at Lake Cumberland Speedway, two tracks that really support us and help us out. So appreciate you guys. And of course, like I said, Rusty commented, and I was saying about him needing this shirt. Rusty, we had a whole conversation about you. If you missed the first 2 or 3 minutes of the show, we were talking about you and the Off the Dirt merch. So
you repping our merch.
So, that's one of the things. And Marcus Mace says he hopes we're well. Marcus, I've not seen you in a while, but I hope you're well too. So
he's talking about he came into work the other day and got a milkshake.
That's what it was. So you've seen him more recently. So
yeah,
it's good to have you on with us tonight, Marcus. But we thought we might have some different people on with us this weekend after the last races, but we did not. Hayden came to 2 new tracks and kind of dominated the weekend. So what do you say we bring him in and chat with him a little bit?
Yep. So welcome in Hayden Cardwell, sweeping the All-American Bash. I can't remember.
How are you guys?
Good, Hayden. It's good to see you. I hope you're doing well, and good to have you on with us tonight.
Yeah, good to be here. I think it'd be nice if somebody else probably wants to hear somebody else talk, but it's a good thing that we're still winning, so I can't complain about it.
That's right. I was talking to Logan Walls the other day, and he's third in the points right now. And he said we need to have 3 secret races and not tell Hayden about it. And I'll be caught up in the points. So that was a conversation that I had with him the other day that made me laugh, and I had to share with you.
Oh yeah.
So Hayden, let's just jump right into it. We started the weekend at Beckley. Tell us about your trip to Beckley and getting here. And I know you don't remember much of it from what your crew told me, but and your thoughts when you first came into the track, and did you think? I mean, I'm sure you always think you're going to win, but did you know going into it that you had a pretty good shot at winning this race?
I think I knew I had a really good car as it is, as all the guys prepare a great race car for me to, just get there and just do my best I can. So I know we had a great shot, at least finishing in the top 5. And we ever qualified second there, and we ran second to win the dash. And haven't been able to race against Michael that much, but, from guys like Logan and a few other guys were saying that, if we go up north anywhere, Michael Bland is, normally the one to beat. So I knew when we rolled off, it was going to be, a tough race, but just wanted to kind of save my tires early. And I knew I had a good car early in the race, and I could suck up to him on the exit of the corner. So I kind of just let him use his stuff up just a little bit more, and there was opening, and I was able to take it. But before the race, you guys were actually calling us to staging, and we set the car down off the lift, and I started it up and went to put it in gear, and the drive shaft completely broke in half. So the guys had to jack it back up, and Jordan, the guy that helps us on the truck, he came with us, and it was just Randy, and it was just us 4. And he was able to change the drive shaft in probably about 5 minutes, and that's why we were one of the last ones on the track.
Yeah, I didn't even know that you had broke the drive shaft. Sorry, Allie. until we saw you guys Saturday after our flat tire incident on the way to Isom. I didn't even know that the drive shaft had been broken until you all told us when we were working on getting our tire fixed there at Morgan McClure on Saturday.
Yeah. I was not the happiest when they kind of told me just to shut up. So that's it all worked out. We had a really great car both nights. But I think Beckley, everybody talks good about it. I loved it. I was hoping we could have been on the wall a little more in turn 1 and 2 because everybody knows I like to rip the outside a lot about everywhere I go. But I think it's one of my most enjoyable racetracks I've been on this year for sure. And Willard was right there with it. I think that's the best 2 races that I think we've had all year. The Willard race was really good. I don't know if anybody didn't get to go back and watch the race up front. It was pretty entertaining for me.
That's awesome. Well, that's what I was going to ask you is, you ran through Beckley, like what happened that day and what all you did that day. So give us a run through of what happened at Willard.
We got there a little later than planned. I think Rusty took the longest way possible to the racetrack. And I slept the whole way to make it go by better like I always do. But we got there a little late, had to do some work on the car. My first impression of the racetrack, I walked up there and I seen AJ on a pit bike up there, and I turned around and I looked at him and I was like, why are we here? Just like joking around with him. And then, later in the night, as I got on it, I was like, this place actually races really good. It just took it a while to kind of widen out there. So, we rolled off on the pole after we started second in the dash. And I took the lead in the dash from the outside, and everybody was like, are you not going to pick the outside in the race? And I was like, no, I just want to be able to start the race. So everybody thought that AJ was going to get the lead on the first start. But I was able to hold him off there, and then, had to do some hard racing with the 17 car as Logan was he was giving me all I could handle there. So every lap going into turn 3, I could hear him just drive on it in turn 3. So it was definitely a great race, and excited to go back up there 2 more times, no doubt.
Yeah, Rusty's giving you a hard time here. He said 4 spoilers in one night. He'll pay us extra to wet the bottom. So looks like he wants you to stay down low. And then he also says that anywhere is 15 minutes for you. So talk about Saturday. We rained out Saturday, and you were kind of in that same boat as us. It was too far to go home. You were already on the way. Well, tell us about your day on Saturday, too, because, after we lost the race, we kind of were all just stranded on the road that day.
Yeah, I don't think we were too far. We were probably around, I don't know, an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe from the racetrack. And Bland was texting me telling me that he was already there, and it came a freaking monsoon there. He said there was no way that they could have raced at all. So we kind of just didn't really know what to do. And Rusty is real good buddies with Morgan McClure, so really thankful that they let us actually unload the race car there and do all of our maintenance before Sunday. We all wanted to race Saturday, but it was another good thing that I think if we raced Saturday, I would have been more wore out after 3 days than actually having a break. So it kind of helped us. I would have much rather race, but because there really wasn't much for us to do at nighttime, we kind of just sat there and just piddled around. We had Applebee's for dinner, and when you guys came over there to get the tires for your truck, me, Jesse, and Bo had a good time. So it all worked out.
Yeah, they really enjoyed the tour of the trailer. There's Jesse was still talking about it yesterday when I saw him. So yeah. They really enjoyed the tour that you gave them of
whenever we get some time, we're gonna put both our cars on the lift gate for their new Facebook cover photos.
Yeah, they were telling me they want next time you come to Beckley, since there's a practice night the Friday night before, that they would love to. That'd be a good time to do it. Jesse was talking about that. So, does Rusty know about this plan, or is this just
I don't know. Thing? I think we just kind of talked about it.
Well, he knows now. So, talk about that race. You said you could hear Logan, and I think he got by you once in 1 and 2. I don't think he ever led a lap, but I think he did get by you once in 1 and 2, and you got back by him in 3 and 4. And he was running, I'm sure you went back and watched the video now. He was running a very unique line and very different line, but yet, you guys were both very, very even throughout the race.
Yeah, I think it was after the first restart, I was just kind of running the bottom both ends, and I seen Rusty in turn one, and the sticks got closer and closer and closer together, and he told me to go to the top one lap and 1 and 2, and the first lap went up there. I see him pick his nose under there, and the next lap I kind of rolled through the middle, and he slid right across me, and I just wasn't expecting that. And luckily, I was able to turn across or turn across him and get back under him going into turn 3, and coming out of turn 4. I just kind of gave him the top because I at that moment I felt like he was faster, and I was just gonna let him go and not even try to like race him too hard that early in the race. But I was somehow able to clear him off turn 2, and that's when I knew that I had a pretty good car because I didn't really try to overdrive right there and kind of help me out.
Yeah, that's somebody. I think I was talking to Randy after the race, and he told me he ran down and told Rusty I don't know if it was under green or what that he had to talk to him about the sticks so he didn't mess you up. So he was telling me about that, and Rusty also says he didn't know about your plan with Jesse and Bo, so he probably tried to sneak and do that. So but it was just a really phenomenal race, and then you mentioned Bland at Beckley using his stuff up. I think he faded there, toward the end. He had a real fast car all night long, and he faded back to 5th or 6th.
Yeah, I think that, like we always talk about every race, every time we get done, because we set up, a decent amount Friday night. And I think I was able to show my nose a couple times to him. And I think, like, every time he saw my nose, he may have, just tried to drive a little bit harder, He could have just lost right or tire and, that kind of just – because I think he faded a little bit once I got by him. So, he was still real quick. So, I knew it was a hard challenge to be able to get by him. But, all in all, it was a good race, and can't wait to go back.
Yeah, we got some big races coming up, Allie. Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, one thing I want to talk about is you won your first time coming to Lake Cumberland. You won your first time coming to Beckley and Willard. So what is like a mindset for you going into a track that you've never ran before?
I don't really know. Like I don't have any preparation going in, I guess. Like I don't really think too much about it. I just try to go out there and do my thing every week. And, I think it's just a weird coincidence that all these tracks I've been going to and winning the first time, that's my first time ever going there. So, each night, it's going to be hard to put a whole night together. So, we were lucky enough to put 2 whole nights together last weekend, and really, really looking forward to going back to With. I think I ran 20 for about 15 laps last time we were there, and then finally got it together. So, hopefully we can get started early in the night there, and, on to Beckley for $10,000. That's definitely marked my calendar. So looking forward to those 2 races.
Looks like Rusty has $10,000 on the mind these next 2 races.
He can calm down.
So talk about Rusty on race night. We all love Rusty. Do you all communicate a lot on race night? Do you just kind of do your thing and just go win the race for him? Or, talk about your relationship and how it works on race night.
It's pretty laid back. We always give each other crap. I think we argue more whenever we win. Whenever we win races, he always gives me crap. He was like, Logan was about to pass you, this and that, and just giving me crap. But it's been really good. I can't thank him enough for just allowing me to do what I love for basically free. And it means it's awesome to be able to drive for somebody like that. And every night we race, he kind of really doesn't say too much until after night. So right now we have a pretty good relationship going on with Randy being just kind of our only help right now. So we're kind of short staffed. We're always doing something for it. It's kind of hard for us to talk a lot, especially whenever the nights go by pretty fast.
And I'm sure it's good to come off, have a few week break coming off a win. I'm sure that always feels good too.
Yeah, it makes it easier because we really did have a short week, back to Smoky Mountain, so we still had a lot to work to do to the car, but it made it a lot easier, knowing that we didn't really tear anything up. So it didn't make it too bad. We were setting on go for Smoky Mountain. Kind of wish we didn't call that as soon as we did because the weather down here it was beautiful Saturday. So
it's always like that. It's always like that. You call a race and it's perfect, but if you don't, it's gonna be pouring down rain.
Yeah, Kendall was messaging me. He was like, weather don't look good like Monday because he was gonna race, and he was asking me like.
He changed it the whole week.
Yeah.
I hope you know that. Like 14 days up until Smokey, he jinxed it.
So it's
Because he
Kendall's
looks at
fault
the
we didn't
weather.
get a race.
It's
Yeah.
14 days prior to any event coming up in his life, he checks the weather.
Kendall needs to grow some hair on his head.
Oh, that's good. Where he can't say anything back to you, you got him good.
Yeah.
So
Kendall loves me.
He loves me too.
So talk. Withful's next. You said you started 20th, and you were hard charger that night, toward the front of the pack. That's the one track you've been to this year that you didn't win. Your first time visiting there. So, what's your plans? What are your outlooks? I know you want to win the $10,000, obviously. What are you going to change to start tonight so you're not starting 20th again?
Last time we were just super, super tight in the corner. You know how big width is. You're normally not letting out of gas in there, and I was off the gas more than I was in the gas because the car was just a little ill handling at the beginning of the night. So if we can just be a little freer to start out the night and keep the 6 car from not being too far ahead at the beginning of the night will probably help as well.
I think that's everybody's strategy racing against Dylan.
That's what I was going to say. Last year, Dylan got ahead early, and Hedgecock was the one chasing him.
He started really deep, actually, and I thought Corey was going to get him.
And it was just too much, too deep, I guess early to get him there at the end. So that might be your way to go this week. So Rick Lilly's here. He says, hey, everybody. Hey, and there's Mike Knuckles, says he's a big fan.
How many laps is the width race?
53.
Okay, that's solid.
Trade show 53. 53 laps.
So, hopefully we can get Mike to come set up for the trade show. Mike's on here with us tonight, so it'd be good to have Mike there at the trade show. He's all. It seems like it always a weekend that he's busy himself. I've tried to get him to come the past 3 years, but maybe we can get Mike there this year to set up. But you're going for the Warrior Race Cars Rookie of the Year. You got that'll be 50% off a brand new chassis from them if you win. It's good to have Mike here. We can talk about that a little bit. We're in the back half of the season. You've got a pretty good points lead. We're not going to take Logan Wall's idea and do 3 secret races. So what do you do, during the rest of the season? You've got a pretty commanding lead. Do you just go for wins now? And, you got the points lead pretty well wrapped up. Do you go for wins or do you still want those consistent finishes, obviously?
We do have a pretty sizable points lead at the moment, but that's liable to change. We could go out and, something catastrophic happen and, set us back for a whole weekend. So, the plan is to go for wins every time we go out there. But, my mindset, if I can still finish top 5s, top 10s every time, top 5s is what I shoot for every time. So, if we can just have good, consistent finishes, we got a pretty sizable gap. So it makes it, I'm not really stressed out every time we go to the racetrack. I'm kind of just laid back and, definitely going for the wins. We got a lot of big money coming up, so it'd be awesome to, at least get one of those 10,000s.
Yeah, I'm sure that you and Rusty, neither one would mind having that motor tore down 2 or 3 times in a row here. So, and we've got everything we need, so we can do it at the track now. We've even got a flow bench in the trailer, so we're going to be able to do that at the track. So you're not having to travel with us to get the motor now. So really excited about that. But Hayden, Allie, you got any more questions for Hayden tonight? All right. Before we let you go, like always, I want to give you time to thank those that help you and Rusty get up and down the road.
I always forget people at the racetrack. So, I don't have the list made out yet. So, first off, Rusty Webb, he gives me all his equipment, like I said, to do whatever. Bristol Performance, Randy Moon for all the work in the shop. Mark Tudor, Fox Shocks, that man's been great to us. Morgan McClure, Tennessee Shine Co., Cray Engine Technology. Randall Harris is, he's been awesome to me before I even went and drove for Rusty. Randall Harris has always been a great mentor to me. So really thankful for that guy, and just my mom and dad for all the support that they've been giving me, and you guys for letting me come on the show again, and looking forward to the next race.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure you hope to be back with us after the next one. Good luck this week. I know you're going to go chase some weekly points this weekend. So best of luck this weekend, and we look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah, I better thank the girl that just commented too. She's going to have my back. So, but yeah.
She made you a list, so you better not leave her out.
Like 6 months ago.
And dazzling detail. Look at that. Yeah. Rusty got your back there.
Okay. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. But
All right, Hayden. Well, good luck this weekend. I know you're chasing AJ down in the weekly points, so best of luck this weekend. Go get you some points and make that race exciting too as we head into the back half of the season. So thanks for coming on, and we look forward to seeing you down the road in a couple of weeks.
thank you.
All right, well, that was Hayden Cardwell practically sweeping. It's turned into a 2-day weekend, but it's supposed to be a 3. But Hayden Cardwell sweeping the All-American Bash. But before we move on to talking about the touring points, let's hear a quick word from the title sponsor of the American All-Star Series, PPM Racing Products, and the official fuel, Renegade Racing Fuel.
When you start with the strongest American steel, apply the smartest techniques. Let artesian quality craftsmen do the work. What you end up with is just built better than anything else you can get.
Racers that win, pour it in, and we appreciate you.
Welcome back to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, presented by M&M Septic Services. We just talked to our previous winner. We were supposed to have another winner, or the same winner, you never know, from Smoky Mountain, but we ended up getting rained out. So we took a week off. We talked to Hayden, and now let's talk about Racetrack Connection before we talk about touring points.
Racetrack Connection, such a great app for the fans and for the drivers. It's free. I mean, who doesn't like free, Allie? And, it's a great way for racers to put in their information, to share their information with the fans, for fans to know who's there. And it has a chat feature. So, you're a driver down there, you're having a good night, you just set fast time, hop on, talk to your fans for a minute. I mean, I know you're busy on race night, but you can give your fans a few minutes, and the fans would love it. They would think that's awesome, and it would be awesome for you as well.
For sure. The fans can check out who's checked in and coming to the track that they're going to, and seeing your name, seeing your resume, where your hometown is. And you may come across a sponsor that will want to give you some money to help you out up and down the road. So definitely an awesome app for fans, for drivers, for sponsors, for anybody involved in racing.
Yeah, there is a feature there where you can put a resume in and market yourself. And we'll talk a little bit about in segment 3 about the ways that you can sell stuff on Racetrack Connection as well. So many great options, great features for any type of racing, from slot cars to asphalt racing to demo derby. I'm not sure he's got demo derbies on there. I'm sure we can add it to powder puffs, to the kids' bicycle races, to dirt racing. Everything is included, and he can update if you're a track and you're not listed on his app. Let him know, get him your schedule, and he'll get you updated within 24 hours. He'll have all your information in there and ready to rock and roll. So definitely check it out. Racetrack Connection. Sherman Callan is your man, your contact for the Racetrack Connection. He can get you set up and get you rolling on it. So check it out. He'll be with us. I think he said he would be with us right here on the Trade Show 53 is what he said in the chat there earlier. Sounded good to him. So he'll have a booth set up. You can check it out on race night, I'm sure. And what he'll probably do is he'll set up with the drivers for the trade show part, and then go up to see the fans in the second part. So that'll be great to get people interacting and signed up. So check it out.
For sure.
Racetrack Connection. Great app. Get signed up. Use it.
Yes. If you're a driver or you're a fan watching this right now, go download Racetrack Connection, either as Racetrack Connection user or Racetrack Connection driver. There's 2 parts to Racetrack Connection, so make sure you download the right one and get yourself signed up, because it's an awesome app for both drivers and fans. But
that's right.
Joe, update us on the touring points.
So the touring points, as we said, Hayden is dominating right now. Logan Wallace has come up with the idea. Usually Logan's watching our show. I'm surprised he's not commenting right now. But Logan came up with the idea that we needed to have 3 secret races and not tell Hayden about it.
Just like the double spoiler. He's full of good ideas.
He is full of good ideas. Double spoiler. He didn't try that at Lake Cumberland, by the way. But
I wish he would have.
Yes. So double spoilers, secret races. I mean, Logan's got it all figured out over there in Junction City, Kentucky, running for the Rookie of the Year as well. And then he asked me, he said, "Can you be the champion and Rookie of the Year?" And I said, "Yes, Logan." So he was trying to figure out how he could get the Rookie of the Year award too. So he was all over it too when we were discussing it.
Logan Walls is one of those that's had some very tough luck throughout this season. And I'm very much looking forward to when he can turn that around and bring himself towards the top of the points, fighting for Hayden's spot.
Yeah, he has good qualifying runs since the first race of the season when he was the slowest car out. He's had really good qualifying runs, good races. He won the heat race this past weekend, last weekend at Willard. He's had some good runs and he's been strong. He is third in the points right now. Another driver from Kentucky, Jordan Hedger, is sitting second in the points. And Jordan has he got his motor rebuilt after that first weekend. He had to use a hard chip on the second night because the motor that he got was just flat. He said it was just flat. So that is on in the process of, he's turned this season around. He's had some really good races. And honestly, had he not had to drop that race, he'd be even closer to Hayden than he is. So he's sitting second right now. Logan's right behind him. They got 682 to 649. So there's just a little bit of a difference there between second and third. Good race for second place in the points right now.
But see, one thing about Jordan Hedger is he was one of those drivers that we were talking about earlier in the season, making a run to get his first American All-Star Series win. And every race that he's ran in, he's been a competitive car and not had as much bad luck as he did last year. So I'm really interested to see how well he does towards the end of the season and coming up to these 10,000s, because this is where you want your luck to turn around.
Yeah. And he's been serious about this too, because he came to Beckley the weekend before our race. He was here that Saturday night just to get some laps, to get tuned up. So he is very serious about chasing his points. And, he's put some miles on. I'd say Beckley's probably 4.5. He's from the Florence area, so 4.5, 5 hours from where he's at. And he drove all the way to Beckley just to, get some laps on a regular show because he's after it. I mean, he's getting it. He's chasing this.
I would be too. Considering there's 10,000 going to be at that track, I would be too.
Yeah, that's right.
10,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah, and second place in the points pays 5,000. So even if he doesn't run down Hayden, he's still got a good shot. It's him and Logan are battling it out pretty hard for second right now. So second and third place both pay good money, and they're both chasing it. I think third place is $3,500. So $1,500 difference between second and third in the points. So I don't have the points payout right in front of me, but I'm pretty sure that's what the drop is. So, that's a pretty big difference there. And those two guys will probably be battling it out through the rest of the season. William Blankenship, who unfortunately had to use his hardship over the All-American Bash weekend, they've been on vacation and they were coming on Saturday. It rained out on Saturday, so they missed Beckley and Willard, because once Isom rained out, they just, that was kind of where they were. So
series of events.
Just at the wrong place at the wrong time, really. He is sitting fourth right now, though, and then the Seiss brothers are fifth and sixth, who will be back with us, I'm sure, for our 10,000 to win at Withville. And Ricky Green got the hard charger at Beckley on Friday night. He started like 16th and drove his way up to fifth place. So really solid run there. It looks like they're maybe getting things turned around and are working hard to get that program righted and doing some good things. So coming up to some tracks that Ricky's good at too. He's got some room to move into points as we head into the tracks that he is really strong at, the bigger tracks like Withville in the next race out.
And I've been talking a lot about bad luck, but Ricky is one of those drivers as well that's had terrible luck. He's in the feature. He does well through heats and qualifying, but then he gets in the feature and he just gets wrapped up in, places where you don't want to be, or the wrong place at the wrong time during the feature. So I look for him to make early moves to get himself in a better position during the feature, and then hopefully bringing his car into victory lane for his second win in the American All-Star Series.
That's right. So Whiffle's where he won last year for the first time, and I know that they'd love to pick up the 10 grand and do it this weekend. So, or in a few weekends, not this weekend. But then Terry Poor's one other driver that's still chasing the points, running for points, and he's only 5 points behind Ricky, sitting in 8th. So pretty good battle there between Ricky, and running there as they're trying to work their way up into points as well. So the Blue Deuce, I still think he could get his first win with the series this year, and it wouldn't shock me if he did.
No. Terry is one of the hardest working drivers we have, which all of our drivers are hardworking. Obviously, you have to be to own a race car, to be running a race car. But Terry, he puts so much effort into his racing, and it's just because he loves it. It's not, I don't think Terry really, he doesn't take his anger out on everybody else because it's not anybody's fault. He just has fun. Even when it doesn't go his way, he's always having fun. He's always super nice. And that's what I love about Terry.
That's right. Always trying. And that's for sure. So Terry's here with us. Terry's another one that almost always watches the show. We've got a lot of those drivers that run with us regularly. They tune in and hang out on our show. And we appreciate you guys more than you know that hop on and hang out with us on our podcast during the week. And, Terry is a pleasure at all times. Like you said, he's been mad at me a couple times. And usually I could say, okay, Terry, well, here's why this is like this. And then he understands and we're good. So, Terry, even when he gets upset, if you can explain it to him, he's good with you. He understands it and gets where you're coming from a lot of times. So I've got to give him credit there for just being a good guy. So we did have to watch a video a couple weeks ago because he thought he was ahead of a couple cars on the track, and we had to watch the video and discuss it. But he's always, even when he's mad, he comes across as just, respectful.
He's respectful.
And yes, yeah. And pleasant. So give Terry credit there. And, these touring points are really going to tighten up these big races coming up. So we could really see these guys move and get things going. So, Tyler, unfortunately, McCown might get in the way of that.
No, I would marry Kendall Tucker 4 or 5 times before I would marry Oscar McCown.
So
sorry,
AJ was wanting to pick on you the other day, and you didn't come last weekend. You weren't with us on the road last weekend, and he said let Allie know that we'll have Oscar a nice spot saved near the trailer, or something along those lines. But he was wanting me to make sure that you knew that there was room for Oscar and you both at Willard's. So. Which Oscar wasn't even there, but AJ is in on that joke now and was having a good time with it. So
hard pass. AJ thinks he's watching, hard pass.
Oh,
sorry, buddy.
Oscar's watching.
I'm so sorry.
You've heard.
It's not in the cards, bud.
You've cut him deep. You've cut him deep tonight.
Well, with that, let's hear a word from our title sponsor, PPM Racing Products, and the official fuel of the American All-Star Series, Renegade Racing Fuel.
When you start with the strongest American steel, apply the smartest techniques. Let artesian quality craftsmen do the work. What you end up with is just better than anything else you can get.
Racers that win, pour it in, and we appreciate you.
Welcome back to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, presented by M&M Septic Services. This is a production of the American All-Star Series. And before we talk about Racetrack Connection, we'll talk about Racetrack Connection.
Oh, what do you want to say first?
Sir, you may have the wrong Snapchat because I don't got you, bro. I got you.
All right. Now we can go to Racetrack Connection. I
Yeah.
wondered if we were going to talk about that. I was just going to ignore that comment and just let it go. But
well, I didn't want my boyfriend to see that and cause some drama, so no. But yes, the chat feature on Racetrack Connection was a little bit shaky there for a minute, and it should be coming up soon, according to Sherman. So hopefully that'll get Racetrack Connection. I've been working for the tracks and fans and drivers as well. So I'm excited for that chat feature to work because I think it'll be really fun for drivers, fans, tracks to use that chat feature.
Yeah, I agree. It's a great way for tracks to put out notice, like especially during weather delay. We haven't even really talked about that. And being here at Beckley on the weeks the series is off this year, I've seen a little bit more of the track side of weather delays, which with series is we try to make a good call early. But when you're running just local classes, you can go a little harder. You can try a little harder to get a show in because you're not got guys traveling. And a great way to it starts pouring rain, fans are all filing out and going to their vehicles. So a great way to stay in contact with your fans, if you're a track, is the chat function on Racetrack Connection. And you can let them know, hey, we're waiting it out. Rain's going to be over in 10 minutes. We'll be able to get the track run in. We're waiting it out. Or hey, we tried. Say the rain's just set in. It's not moving out, and then the race is canceled. So that would be a great function for tracks to use on race nights, is that chat feature for when all the fans have filed out to their vehicles due to the weather.
Yes, and one thing we've really designated segment 3 to Racetrack Connection is the buy and sell part of Racetrack Connection. So Racetrack Connection is practically the Facebook for all of racing. It has a marketplace kind of thing built into it, so you can buy and sell your side business, as well as you can put yourself out there for sponsors to look at you and sell sponsors as well.
Yeah, that's a great app, a great function. All the time you hear, and this is just one option that I'm talking about. You got Ricky Green that's got like New Arrow spoilers that does his own spoilers. But another great option would be all the time you hear about these super drivers or these super teams, or even crate teams to an extent with tires that they sell, their takeoffs. This would be a great place for you to market it to your fellow competitors at your local track or wherever you're at, because they see, okay, use Rusty Webb, for example. Rusty's got 4 tires for sale cheap. Here's the option that I can reach out to him and I can buy those tires. So whether you run a small business of your own, like Ricky with his spoilers, or if you're wanting to resell stuff like takeoffs or any other parts or pieces that you may not need, that function, that feature is there. And if everybody hops on there together, it's definitely going to give you the way as a seller to make money, and the buyer is going to save money because they've got hooked up with you and they're not having to buy brand new stuff. If they could use something used, they could buy something used.
Yeah, for sure. And going back to the sponsorships, is if you're a traveling driver and you're going to all these places, but you have mostly hometown sponsors, you can meet a bigger sponsor as well as somebody that is in that hometown that you're racing at, and you could get a sponsorship there. So it widens your options for sponsorships.
Yeah, especially for these traveling teams. I mean, if somebody sees that you're coming in and you're like a Hayden Cardwell that has won the last time you were at Beckley, and let's say that Jim's tire shop was here at the track and they saw, Hayden ran well, we'll give you $500 for fuel this week if you'll advertise us this weekend at the track we're at. So, a lot of great options, functions, no reason not to be on Racetrack Connection. It's free. Anything that's free, you should get hooked up on. And, Sherman's been great. He's given away hats at all of our drivers meetings. And I got down in the box, and there's some really nice hats down in that box I found this past weekend.
I saw them at Lake Cumberland. They were nice.
Red front, black back. I mean, nice hats that I was giving away this weekend. One was solid brown. I was some of them I wanted to keep for myself. So, I was,
Put your name in the frisbee box.
That's right. I'm going to put my name in the frisbee box and get me a Racetrack Connection hat. So.
One thing I do want to hit on, we said it was free, and he is talking about it. It is completely free. Everything on Racetrack Connection is completely free. The developers were using a free trial on that, so I don't want to get anybody confused. But yeah, it is all free.
That's right. Oh, well, here we go. Right here before we get to talking about the weekly points. Rusty says he'll take all the sponsors they can get. They have space. Hayden has signed up now, so he can, promote that. You're welcome, Sherman. Always glad to promote the app. And Rusty wore that hat all weekend long. He took the one that Hayden won the other night. So, whether it be you yourself that's winning these hats or one of your team members or your team owner like Rusty Webb, it's a great thing. And they're good hats. I mean, they're nice hats, and it's promoting a great app that supports the series. So appreciate, Sherman, all that you've done for us. Look forward to working with you on the Trade Show 53 and having you there. I love the event. It was something that we'll talk more about the trade show as we get closer, but that was an idea that Fred came up with because he'd seen motocross tracks and races do it, was having a trade show as a part of the event. So it's a pretty cool deal. It makes me excited, and I look forward to it. So that show's coming up soon. If you've got something that you'd like to set up, market, and sell there, that's what the trade show is all about. So message us. It will get you set up. If you're a sponsor of the series, you get set up for free. If you're not a sponsor of the series, it's a very small fee. So pretty awesome deal there that we got set up. So Allie, the next thing we talk about is our weekly points.
Weekly points. That was we should do a radio introduction to that. Weekly points.
We need to figure out how to make the echo work. So, or you can just be the echo yourself.
Weekly points.
So I also want to give a shout out to Shane Bells at Pro Built Motors. He's been helping the series out some here lately. So a huge shout out to him, and appreciate all he's done to help us out. So he's not a full-time sponsor, but definitely is good to the series. So we appreciate him too. He texts me. That's what made me think about him. So, but the next thing that we got to talk about is the weekly points. And Hayden Cardwell has already maxed out his touring points that he can count towards weekly points. So that's pretty awesome. Shows how good of a season that Hayden is having. But right now, and that's why he's going to have to go run like Crossville and stuff and catch up a little bit. So that's what his plan is for this weekend. But right now, AJ's in the lead. I know that's a shocker. He is the king of Willard. He was dethroned this last week in the touring race, and he told me, he said, I just wasn't good enough, man. He said, I got to be better next time out. So, he told me that when we talked after the race. But right now he is leading the weekly points, but he's at the point till he can't add any more races at all. He's actually at 13 now, so he's dropping some of his lower finishes. So you'll stop seeing him make the gains that he's gaining, whereas like Hayden, when he goes, if he were to win at Crossville, he'll get full points still. He's not dropping points from weekly shows yet. So that's your first and third spot. Hayden's third. Shannon Thornsberry, super late model standout for many years in Eastern Kentucky, and he still runs the super late model. He actually ran both cars with us at Willard the other night. He ran the super with the local classes, and he ran the crate with us. So, but right now he sits second in the points. He was down a little while. He had some damage to his crate car. So he's starting to build back up and get the crate car going again. So Shannon is another one that could threaten for that weekly points championship. If he just gets some good runs, consistent finishes, he will be right there at the end of the season.
And I feel like this is going to be, especially before we race next, these next couple of weekends, you're going to see, I feel like we're going to see a little bit of shakeup, especially, I don't know if AJ will lose the top spot because he's so good at Willard, and it's inevitable for him to be good at Willard, obviously. And, but with us being off a couple weekends, giving those drivers some time to run a weekly track instead of touring with us, especially guys like Hayden Cardwell, maxing out their touring weekly points so they can't get points for weekly.
They can't double down right now. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's really cool to see that we're in that spot and they have a couple of weeks to get some weekly points. So I'm interested to see what those weekly points will look like after these couple weeks.
Yeah, those three are at the top three right now. Kobe Gallion, who is a Willard local, sits fourth. He has beat AJ once this year at Willard, so he and Shannon have both beaten AJ once apiece this year, or one time each, in weekly shows. So those are guys that could really get in there and throw a monkey wrench in AJ's plan for another perfect season, another perfect points season with the series. If those two guys get in there and they start winning a race here or there against him, it's going to make it easier for, number one, for them to catch up and for Hayden to catch up as well. So, that's what's fun about the weekly deal. You not only depend on how well you can go run a weekly track yourself, but you're kind of dependent on the other competitors to beat other competitors so that you can, it's a whole big thing. So, so Kobe's fourth, Ronnie Martin sits fifth, Bill Prater, a true rookie. He actually, I think he finished top 10 with the series in his first start Willard with the series the other day. So he's a true rookie, but he's looking good. He's sixth in the points. Garrett McLeod's motor is down. So unfortunately, we're seeing him, kind of start dropping down. He had a really good season going. Terry Poor sits eighth after he doubled down this past with the gap running on Friday and Saturday. He doubled down and got weekly points at both tracks, so made a good charge up to eighth, and he sit eighth in both the weekly and touring points. So Gunnar Johnson, the Gunnar man, is sitting ninth, and Jesse Lowe is 10th after a good weekend there this past weekend.
Which you see him dropping a little lower because of his car deal,
he doesn't
all
have
that.
car
So
right now.
I mean, you could have everybody shaking up by the end of these 2 weeks.
That's right. Then you got Tyler Price, Bradley Llewellyn, Donnie Lewis Jr., Aaron Barley. He's one of the Beckley cars. Beckley got a little later start, so the Beckley guys are kind of climbing up behind, everybody else. So they'll be maxed when other people are maxed out on their races and starting just to drop races. Some of those guys from Beckley will still be earning points. So that, you'll see those guys get mixed in there as the season goes on. And then Deke Waters is 15th right now in weekly points. So got a good little run going right now there with the weekly points. Got 27 members currently battling it out for the weekly points. And it's a fun thing. I like watching it, especially once people start dropping races, which is where AJ's at, and watching guys mix in there and see where everybody shakes out as we get closer to the end of the season.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to look at the touring as well as the weekly, especially these touring. They may, somebody who's not running touring points like Dylan Brown. He's a 10,000 master.
Yes.
So he could come in and kick those guys to the tail, and those guys not get as much touring points. So, it's all up in the air, and it's going to be really interesting to watch throughout the season.
That's right. And like Hayden said, one bad night, and he's, lost a bunch of points. So Hayden has been very, very, it's not only luck, it's been good too, being a clean racer. But he has been very, very lucky not to end up in somebody else's mess as well, this year. So that could happen one night. You end up in somebody else's mess and you've had a bad night, even when you had nothing to do with it. So a lot of fun things coming up.
We don't want that to happen to anybody.
That's right. We don't want that to happen to anybody. And we've seen some guys, Terry Poor seems like he's the opposite. He has been in, we're talking about luck. He has been in that position where it wasn't his fault and he wound up in messes a few times.
Ricky Green, another one.
Ricky Green as well. And Logan Wiles, even at the beginning of the year, there were a couple times he got in a mess that wasn't his own doing. So, that's something we'll see guys. We see guys struggle with every year. And, unfortunately, it's just part of racing. So it doesn't matter how much homework you do and how hard you work. Sometimes you're just in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Absolutely. Well, we have a long season to go, so make sure you're keeping an eye out on our weekly as well as our touring points updates on crateracing.com. But before we get into our favorite segment of the show, let's see a video of all of our American All-Star Series sponsors.
Real quick before we do, Rusty said that's what got him last year, and he's right. So, yes, we'll have a word from our sponsors now. We'll come back, and we'll laugh and have a good time.
Welcome back to Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe, presented by M&M Scepter Services. We've had a pretty good show for being off a week, so it's been not many mess-ups.
Yeah, we had a lot to talk about, not many mess-ups. Kobe Gallion, we were just talking about him. Kobe had a great qualifying run in a touring race and then had some bad luck strike. He actually got the Shane Bailey Racing Hard Luck Award at Willard, but he is sitting fourth in the weekly points right now, and I know he's going for that win. So, the weekly tracks too, but I forgot to mention this before we start bloopers. There's a lot of weekly tracks running this weekend, so a lot of points can be gained. Willard is on Saturday. Beckley is usually a Saturday night track, but it's Friday. And so some of those guys might sneak down to Beckley and steal some points that way too. But
question. This may be a really dumb question, but the Gap is running Southern Nationals, right?
Yes.
Sunday, so they can't get points there.
No, they're not running 604s on Sunday. Actually, I asked about that because I was thinking about Hayden because he'd been talking to me earlier. So I messaged Dalton and asked him. I said, "Hey, you're running 604s this week?" And they said no. So unfortunately, there's not the way to sneak in on get a Sunday race this week. His side's getting killed in the feature, he said. So Kobe needs some luck. Kobe came down. He was supposed to be on the show the week you were on vacation. He was supposed to be on the show. Well, he was in Beckley eating at Cracker Barrel at the time we were on the show, so AJ had to fill in, but Kobe came and hung out with me here in the tower at Beckley after the show was over. So we couldn't get him on the show, but he did come hang out with us at the Crack in person. So, come and check the place out. But we got to have Kobe on at some point. He did tell me that he was going to be on, I think. He saw AJ on, so I think he's willing to do it. So maybe we can get Kobe on during one of these next couple of weeks while we're down from touring. So one of our weekly standouts that way. So Kobe, be prepared. You're here watching. Know that we're going to grab you up. So the only real blooper I can think of is, as I was going to ice him, hit something and got a flat tire. The boys are a good pit crew. Any of our drivers hiring pit crews, Puddin and the Tire Whisperer are your men. They will be glad to join your pit crew. What do we got here? Benji held the heat race sign upside down to see if I'd noticed before taking the picture, and I most definitely did not notice. Well, that's a Nikki. Nikki doesn't make many bloopers. Nikki's pretty solid at her job, so
I know.
Good
that
job.
Is so something Benji would do.
Yes. Not surprised by that.
A blooper I have before is one, the stupid fly has been swarming my face this entire show.
I've seen you swatting at him.
Yeah. Well, then second of all, we were starting the show and it was it showed this little message up here and it said, you need to reconnect your Wi-Fi. And I was like, dang it.
That's why you were frozen
trying to get my
first came on.
Yeah. And I was trying to get my hotspot, and then I looked back, and it was on 15 seconds. I was like, oh, crap, I was probably going to fix my Facebook, put the stuff on there. I was like, we had a really panic attack moment there for a minute.
Yes, you were just kind of sitting there when we came on and a little late getting us fired up. But once we got going, it was good. So, and we had a lot to talk about with taking a week off from the show last week. So, Brick Mill Bash, unfortunately, I was really looking forward to it. Mark Whitener was coming. It was going to be Ray Cook was coming. It was going to be a tough field of cars. I mean, it was going to be.
Yeah, it was going to be an awesome weekend.
A packed race. And, I know Hayden was going to be battling for that 10 grand because Hayden has been our AAS dominator this season. But, unfortunately, the weather, it looked so bad. And even local guys were already starting to post on social media that they weren't coming. So weather kills you now. Everybody's a meteorologist, they think. And as a racetrack, as a series, guys, getting on social and talking about the weather is the worst thing you can do. It hurts tracks. It hurts series. If the track and the series are going to try to race, they're going to do everything they can to get it in. So,
and I was telling, I was telling Kendall, I was like, Smokey's going to do everything they can to get this race in because they only run so many times a year.
That's right.
And I know how Smokey is. They're going to try to run the race, and especially for 10,000. I was like, they're going to try to run this, and then it got canceled. I was kind of upset because I was really excited about it. And I was going to be
Yeah.
assistant tech that day. I was super hyped.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were short staffed, and you could have helped Ronnie with the teardowns, so you could have learned all kinds of stuff. But you know, I just you getting on social media and talking about the weather is absolutely, from both a series and track's point of view. I'm telling you, that's the worst thing you can do. If a track says they're racing, if a series says they're racing, plan to be there because they're going to do everything in their power to make it happen. And I promise we would have if we had gotten to that point. But once you start looking at those apps and you start talking about it, it hurts tracks.
I know what it was.
What's
Y'all knew
that?
my birthday was on October 8th. Y'all just wanted to celebrate with me.
That's right. That's right. Celebrate with maybe whoever wins will share some of that $10,000 with you on October 8th.
Give it to me.
That's right. So,
Happy birthday.
That'd be a great way to celebrate your birthday. Jessie really enjoyed celebrating hers last Friday at Beckley. She just loved that. It made her whole weekend.
I spent my last birthday at I-75.
So racing is where I would love to spend my birthday. Though the worst race the series has ever had. The lowest car count we've ever had was on my birthday. So I avoid that now. I avoid racing on my birthday. But it's a lot of, it's going to be fun October 8th, and we've got some fun races coming up. We'll talk more about the trade show and how that works on next week's show. And I think we've covered our bloopers. Nobody else has not a whole lot of comments coming in tonight. Usually we get some comments here. So wrap us up, Allie. Send us home.
Well, join us next week, Monday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for hopefully a guest from with.
Or maybe Kobe Gallion.
Or maybe Kobe Gallion because he says he's in.
Okay.
But as for now, that's Off the Dirt with Allie and Joe. Good night, everyone.
Good night, everybody.